Former Ferrari engineer Rob Smedley believes Sebastian Vettel had his best year in Formula One last season. A highly debatable analogy, but one that isn't completely daft. Yes, Vettel struggled last season and only won a single race, but there's more to that story than many realize. Welcome along everyone to another episode of Formula News, where you can catch up with the latest Formula One headlines, and here's what's in this episode. First up, 2019 was Vettel's best season in Formula One, says former Ferrari man Rob Smedley. Former Williams performance chief and race engineer Rob Smedley thinks 2019 was Sebastian Vettel's best season in Formula One. Vettel arrived on the F1 scene back in 2007 and went on a run of dominance from 2010 to 2013, winning 4 World Championships and helping Red Bull to the same achievement in the Constructors' Championship. But since moving to Ferrari in 2015, the German has been unable to add to his title tally. 2020 will be Vettel's final season with the Scuderia, and his future plans are yet to be revealed. But Smedley feels Vettel is entering that final campaign in his prime, branding 2019 as the strongest season in Vettel's career. 2019 wasn't Sebastian Vettel's finest moment or season in Formula One. It's miles away from the same man who once won 13 races in a single season. Vettel didn't dominate or shine last season, but there's a number of factors one has to consider when analyzing his performance. He had to deal with a younger and much faster teammate, a car that was fundamentally flawed, and the constant pressure from certain sections of the media. This isn't to excuse his poor performance, but people tend to forget that Vettel wasn't really that bad in the second half of 2019. After the embarrassing spin in Monza, Vettel immediately bounced back with the win in Singapore. At Sochi, he was clearly the faster car on race day before retiring through no fault of his own. At Suzuka, he took pole when nobody expected him to and pipped the seemingly indomitable Leclerc. He even started on the front row at Austin before a suspension failure ruined his race for good. It was clear that Seb was finally finding his mojo again, and this isn't to say he didn't have his fair share of mistakes. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video so far, then please consider hitting that like button, and if you hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any future Formula One headlines, then it would be very much appreciated. Anyways, let's get back with the video. Next up, Austrian Grand Prix approved, fans may be allowed. The much delayed opening round of the 2020 Formula One season is almost certain to take place on July 3rd to 5th at the Red Bull Ring after the Austrian government cleared the way to ensure the event can take place. And now reports in Austria say that the government have given approval for the Austrian Grand Prix doubleheader to start the season after weeks of discussions between F1, the Red Bull Ring, and local authorities. From those talks, a safety plan has been drafted up and signed off. Earlier in the week, the health minister said the government was de facto finished in their evaluation, but he said the final decision would arrive immediately after Pentecost on May 31st. But news reports suggest that the safety proposal for both race weekends has been approved, and the news doesn't end there. They're also reporting that the races perhaps won't have to be closed events. Instead, an extra 500 people will be allowed in, though details on that haven't been provided yet. Formula One plans to operate in a bubble of isolation when the season begins, and managing director Ross Brawn has said already that everyone from the series will land with charter flights at the military airfield close to the Red Bull Ring. All Formula One personnel must have been tested for SARS-CoV-2 and present a health certificate before they can enter Austria. Nonetheless, with just over a month to go until the season is expected to get underway, the Austrian Grand Prix has approved hosting the event, which will comprise of 2 rounds on back-to-back weekends, which is July 5th and July 12th. F1 is expected to confirm at least the first few rounds of the revised 2020 F1 schedule in the coming days, with the Hungaroring potentially holding 2 rounds straight after Austria, while Germany's Hockenheimring could also feature despite not being on the original calendar. The British Grand Prix was originally planned as the 3rd and 4th rounds of the new look season, but delays in getting assurances from the UK government to make the sport exempt from the incoming 14-day quarantine rules means this is set to be pushed back to August now. From here, the Belgian Grand Prix and Italian Grand Prix at Spa and Monza could retain their original fixtures before F1 looks to head outside Europe to Eurasia, Asia, the Americas, and Middle East for the final portion of the compacted season. Lastly, Daniel Ricciardo makes Sebastian Vettel retirement plea and opens up on Ferrari talks. Daniel Ricciardo has pleaded with Sebastian Vettel to remain in Formula 1, so he does now make another step towards becoming one of the oldest drivers on the grid. Vettel will leave Ferrari at the end of this season after failing to halt their 12-year championship drought. The German's decision has sparked a driver merry-go-round as he will be replaced by Carlos Sainz, with 30-year-old Ricciardo moving from Renault to McLaren. There are limited options available for Vettel if he wants to continue in F1 next year. Potential retirement for the four-time world champion has been mooted, but Ricciardo does not want his former Red Bull teammate to call time on his career just yet. Ricciardo held talks with Ferrari when he discovered Vettel was leaving the Italian constructor, but he was never offered the chance to partner Charles Leclerc for next season. Ricciardo said he understood why Sainz had got the seat following the Spaniard's impressive 2019 season that saw him score McLaren's first podium in nearly 6 years. Ricciardo also held talks with McLaren over a drive back in 2018 when considering his options for 2019 and beyond, before eventually signing with Renault. The 7-time Grand Prix winner said there was no single moment or factor that prompted him to quit Renault and join McLaren this time around, saying there is no black and white answer. Daniel Ricciardo is still currently at Renault for the 2020 season. He signed with the French team only last year, and many saw it as a downgrade for the Australian considering the success he had at Red Bull. In a Renault car plagued with reliability issues, Ricciardo still managed to do a rather decent job. He finished 9th in the driver's standings with 54 points and ended the season solidly with 16 points in the last 4 races. He will be hoping that the RS20 will give him much better results for the 2020 season. As stated in an earlier article, the Australian wants to leave the French team on a high. He hopes that he will be able to seal a podium finish for them as a parting gift. Daniel Ricciardo will be gearing up for the Austrian Grand Prix on the 5th of July, as will Formula 1 fans. Let's hope for Ricciardo's sake that he gets a good car. And that's been today's video. If you don't want to miss out on any Formula 1 news, then please hit that like and subscribe button for more top-notch F1 reports and insights. Apart from that, I hope you enjoyed the video, hope you have an awesome day, until next time, goodbye.